Welcome back to the program. I have the pleasure of being joined by rookie Christine Williams and the redheaded wonder himself, Andy Harris, to talk a little bit about the NHL. Guys, this season has started out a little bit differently than I think most people would have thought, and early on, a lot of unusual names surfacing. So what unfamiliar face is your favorite to win the MVP right now? Andy, start with you.
Steven Stamkos of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Really, this should not be a surprise. He scored 51 goals last year. That was right up there next to Sidney Crosby. And he is every bit as talented as guys like Ovechkin and Crosby. He just doesn't get the press he deserves. Right now, he has the most goals and the most points scored in the sport. His plus-minus is +7. And he's driven Tampa Bay to a winning record. They finished 4th last year out of 5 teams in the Southeast Division. And right now, they're one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference.
Well, I agree that Steven Stamkos is a great favorite to win the MVP. An unfamiliar face would probably be Chris Stewart. No one's ever heard of him. I'd never heard of him until this. But of the Colorado Avalanche, he's right now first in game-winning goals, which proves that he has what it takes to win under pressure. He's on point right now to have 101 points total. That is ridiculous. That's up there with Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin.
Right,
last
now
year.
we're talking about Steven Stamkos, plays for the Lightning, obviously. Which team is going to be the biggest surprise this season?
I think the biggest surprise in a horrible way are the New Jersey Devils. Last year, they finished first in the Atlantic Division, over top of the Penguins and the Flyers, and second overall in the Eastern Conference. Now, they have 9 points total. They're last in the league. They're completely horrible. They haven't won a home game this season.
That's pathetic.
They're out with, Brodor's been out for a few games. Parise's out for 3 months. They're horrible. There's nothing else to say.
They have not missed the playoffs since the mid-'90s. I mean, they're just like a playoff staple. They're like the Yankees or the Braves in baseball. And the reason they've been failing is because Brodor's having a pretty bad season by his lofty standards. Ilya Kovalchuk, who they committed over $100 million to, has 3 goals so far. 3 goals for $100 million.
So no love for the Lightning. I mean, we just talked about the Lightning. They're not a surprise?
Well, we already talked about them. I don't want to readdress them.
All right. Now, I want to leave you guys with this. Joe Thornton was recently suspended for a head-to-head hit on Blues center David Perron. Is the NHL looking at having some kind of issue like the NFL is with these helmet-to-helmet hits?
Absolutely. The thing that sports, high-speed contact sports like the NHL and the NFL need to embrace is the fact that injuries are going to happen. And every time an injury happens, it does not mean a player is at fault or a hit was dirty. And you don't need to fine a player just because he injures someone. It's unfortunate, it truly is, and they should do everything they can to protect the player's safety, whether it's equipment like padding or helmets or whatever. But it's really something that they need to come to terms with. Players are going to get injured. They tried to, go on.
It's also the player's responsibility, though. In that hit, Perron lowered his head. It wasn't really Joe Thornton's fault. He has 4 inches and 30 pounds on the guy. There's really not much he can do to protect him when he's got his head turned away. So it's also a player's responsibility to protect themselves in a situation like that. But when you're going to address something like this, you also have to address the fights.
Right.
Fights also have a lot of people are directly going after their heads.
Hockey is an extremely violent sport, and
it's very dangerous.
It's just the nature of the game. I really don't think you can take that out on the players.
And they tried to curtail fighting, and that just hasn't worked out.
Right. We've got to take a quick time out, but Eric will be back on the other side of this commercial break as he sits down with Billy O'Riordan and Alex Sharon to talk a little NBA. You won't want to miss this.